What's up, y'all? Said Entertaining. I'm asking y'all to check out the Loveology Podcast. This is...
Hello, and welcome to the Loveology Podcast, where we talk about love and life with laughter. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jason.
He's the carefree one.
She's the serious one. And we're married. We have been since 2012, and we like to think of ourselves as a couple of loveologists.
Not because we are the experts, but because we just love love.
We enjoy studying and talking about it, so we thought, let's just start a podcast.
A place where we can share what we have learned about love, relationships, and marriage.
You can share what you've learned, and we can all grow together.
So here we are. Are you ready?
Let's get started. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining again to another Loveology episode on YouTube and on Instagram and everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere which you can download if you listen audibly. Man, come on and join us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, even if you like to listen to it, right? Mm-hmm. Babe.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm well.
You well?
How about you?
I'm doing great. I feel great. I'm looking great, and I smell great. That's always good.
All of that is true.
So this week we you got any special announcements or anything going on this week?
Oh, make it sound like I'm pregnant again or something. No special announcements.
No special announcements. All right. So, babe, what we doing this week? We completing. We continuing.
Yes, continuing. Yes, we are continuing our series about love and respect. This is part 2. Last week we did part 1. So if this is your first time joining us, maybe you should press the pause button and head over to last week's episode, because you might be a little bit confused if you just jumping in here. But right. Last week, briefly, we talked about basically this idea that a man's deepest value is respect, and a woman's deepest value is love. And wives should learn to love their wives should learn to respect their husband. Yes. And husbands should love their wives.
Yes. Yes. Not taken away from, so you saying a man don't need love?
Right. And we talked about it in the last episode. Right. So definitely that's why I'm saying make sure you go check out last week's episode, Love and Respect Part 1, because for the sake of time, we're just going to keep it moving.
We're going to keep it moving, man. We're going to keep it pushing.
Yeah. And I did need to mention this at least, though. We did talk about something called the crazy cycle.
Yes.
And that's basically saying that when there's no love, then the woman disrespects the husband, and when the woman disrespects the husband, he's unloving. So it's just a vicious, crazy cycle. Yes. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because we will refer to that a little bit this week.
All right.
And if anybody's reading along with me, which there was one woman that said that she was going to read along, I'm excited because I have like a little book club. I've always wanted a book club. I always want to be a part of a book club. So yes, if anyone's interested, this book is called Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs.
Yes.
And read along. This time I'm covering chapters 4 through 7.
Yes.
So next week we'll be covering part 2.
Right.
But let me get back on the the exact chapters, though. Not the entire part 2, but half of it.
And shout out to Cunny. You know, Cunny is definitely want to dive in and read the book with Ashley. So shout out to Cunny. Shout out to Cunny. Appreciate you, girl. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
So before we jump right into it, I do want to give it a quick announcement. We do have our first VIP. So we have a VIP for the y'all that don't know. You can go to Patreon, and you can just simply go to LoveologyPodcast.com, and it's a button that says Become a Patreon. And you can click that button and find a tier that you like that may gel with you and what you got going on. The lowest tier is only $2. So we really appreciate the support that everyone is doing by becoming a Patreon. But our VIP Patreon is Glamory.com. If you go to www.glamory.com, go check them out there, our VIP. So on our VIPs, we give them a shout out every episode. And you can also save some money, save 10% off by typing in Loveology10 and in the promo code section. You get 10% off. So
I love a discount.
who
I
don't
love
like
a
to
good
save some money?
discount.
You know, so definitely go check out Glamoury.com. We'll talk a little bit more about them a little bit later.
Okay.
So, babe, let's dive in. Oh
gosh.
That's my Trey Songz impersonation right there.
Trey Songz, I'm sorry that he's butchering your song.
It's all good. I'm promoting them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Get some more spins on that.
Okay, so chapter 4 is about what men fear most. And what they fear most is what keeps the crazy cycle spinning. And that is that their wife will not respect them. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we need the respect in the house.
We jump right in. We mentioned this a little bit last week, talking about wives. The author says that wives must grasp that their husbands aren't half as big and strong and impervious to being hurt as they might seem.
Mm-hmm.
So just like this understanding that, like, you know, just because typically the man is bigger than the woman and,
right.
you know, and maybe you don't show as many emotions, it doesn't mean that, like, we can't hurt you with our hurtful words.
Exactly.
With like really mean and disrespectful words.
Maybe we're a little bit more sensitive to that.
Yeah, I think
you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say that. No, I think it's just like, no, because we're very sensitive to, you know.
we live, y'all. So.
We're also very sensitive. Like, nobody wants to be talked down to. So I think if you just remember it, like, it's not fair. It's kind of like, well, I don't know, but I always think it's kind of about, like, I was raised that you don't hit a man unless you want to be hit back.
Right.
You know, and a lot of women will not like that phrase, right?
Right.
You see the woman on the movie slap a man, you know, and it's like that, you know, he can take it. But, you know, just don't do it. It's not fair.
Right.
Like, you don't want to be hit, so don't hit him.
Right.
Neither one of us should be hitting each other. And so it's the same way with the words. You don't want to be, you know, talked down to. Right. So don't talk down to your husband.
Exactly.
Right? Don't say mean and hurtful things. Just if you know, if you had those same words being spoken to you, how would you feel?
Right.
Your husband feel the same way.
Right.
Even though he's a man, he still has emotions, right?
Right.
So, but this is the thing. This is the thing that a lot of women don't realize, and this is something that I didn't realize until I read this book, which we talked about on the first episode, on the previous episode, is that a lot of times men feel very disrespected during conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because y'all get the popping off in the mouth during conflict. That's typically where it happens. What?
Well, I mean, we're just expressing how we feel.
Right.
And sometimes that expression doesn't come out the best way.
Right.
So there's two things to remember here is two things that one thing that each person has to do. The woman has to try her best not to say things in a very disrespectful way.
Right.
And then a man needs to understand that your wife is just, she's probably not feeling loved, and she's not doing this maliciously. She's crying out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it sounds like you doing it. When you get to talking crazy, you sorry son of me, you ain't worth, you know what I'm saying? Like that ain't where it's at.
Right. I agree. Right. And that's
that
why
sounds malicious.
Well, sometimes, you know, people just don't know any better sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think that may come from just maybe upbringing?
It could come from upbringing.
You know, hearing your parents yell at you, or, you know, so that's what you do. That's what you revert to.
Right.
Okay.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
Right. So women just have to, like, understand that, and men, right? That this is it's just not appropriate way to talk to somebody.
Right.
But even if you're feeling hurt, but sometimes you just, you know, when you feel hurt or angry, sometimes you just don't think the best way about how to say what you need to say.
Right.
Right. So this is just important to understand, especially during conflict, that when you go to your husband, you just have to, like, really think about how you want to say it, what you want to say, and not say things that are disrespectful.
So basically, when conflict arises, it's not good to fly by the seat of your pants.
Right.
Basically, don't wing it. Don't wing your conversations when conflict arises. When you feel that heat start to rise up, at that point, it's time to abort.
Yeah.
And figure out how you can structure what you want to say.
Take a deep breath and think about what you want to say.
Right.
Just think before you speak.
Right.
Right. Just take a second. Just if you
put a pin in it.
Yeah. Just like look at your partner, and just take a deep breath and look at them and say, and just in your mind, think about what you want to say, form it in a way that is not as disrespectful.
Or if that's because that's still kind of on the fly for some people.
What?
Some people need to just say, you know what, let's talk about this later.
Yeah.
And you can kind of write down some things.
Which is totally what I do. Like Jason and I kind of, we were introduced to this book very early on, first year of marriage. Mm-hmm. And, I realized before then though, that I needed to, when I feel myself getting angry, I need to take a break and like walk away and calm down because, it's just not helpful, right?
Right.
To be screaming at each other. Nothing's going to get solved that way. So, but the key is that you need to come back to the conversation.
Right.
Some people just like take a break and they never talk about what happened. Right. No, you need to talk about what happened.
No, you got to talk about it.
But if you need to take,
it's a root behind that issue. Whatever happened, it's a root, and so you got to get to the root by just cutting off a leaf. If you're trying to take down a bush or a tree or something, if you just take down a leaf, that ain't what's that gonna do? That leaf's just gonna grow right back. Right. So you have to dig a little bit deeper, and sometimes it take a little work, but you got to dig a little bit deeper and get to the root and get that up out of there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here was something in the book that I found like really interesting. The author says, "My experience as a man and with other men tells me that in our arena, we have an honor code. And if we don't live by that honor code, we're in big trouble. We have learned from boyhood that there are certain things that you just don't do, certain things that you just don't say. A woman will talk to a husband in the home in the way that a man would never talk to him. He can't believe she could be so belligerent, so disrespectful." Mm-hmm. Is that true?
What are you talking?
Do you men like grow up like learning from each other that there is just certain things that you don't say to another man and certain things that you don't do?
For sure.
So you all like naturally talk very respectfully to each other?
Yeah. Yeah. Like unless you get to, some people call it joning, some people, checking. When you get to talking, roasting, when you in that mode, okay, it's cool, but it's still some things that you just don't, you try not to hit below the belt. You know what I mean? So it's still a form of respect, even in the playtime. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. This reminds me, and this is kind of digressing, but it's to the point. I was watching this game show. It didn't stay on very long, but it was Terrence Howard. No, not Terrence Howard. Oh my God. What's his name? Terrence.
Wayne Brady?
No, Terrence with the hazel eyes.
Okay, whatever.
Well, both of them have different color eyes.
Terrence J.
Okay. Yeah. He was a host of this show where basically, I can't really describe it. I just know that like, if you didn't answer a question right, they would like tweet something in your name. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and so celebrities were on this game. Yeah. So Terrence and Michael B. Jordan are friends. So he was on the show, him and Stilo. Yeah. And they were in, teams against each other. But anyway, so Michael B. Jordan team answered a question wrong, right? And so that meant that they would have to tweet something out, from Michael B. Jordan's account. Right. And he could either choose to do that or he could choose like to lose a point or something. I'm sure I'm messing this up totally, right? Yeah. But the point is that one time came where he had to kind of tweet something. He had a choice to like tweet something not so like nice, really, right, to Lupita, right, and he chose to do that. Right. It's like, and they delete the tweet. It's up for like a minute or two or something. And then they delete the tweet. But then this team missed a question again. And this time they gave him either the option to like lose a point or tweet something to a man. right? Of I can't remember who it was, but a well-respected black man, right? And he chose not to do that, right? He's like, I can't do that,
Right.
And I just thought that was so interesting. I was like, oh, like man code, like so you'll tweet, something to Lupita, right? A woman, but when it comes to this man, you're like, I can't even do it. We're gonna have to lose the point because I can't do that to my man, my broham,
right? Yeah, because it's like for I don't know, man. It's just off the top of my head. So for like Lupita, he can make that up to her. You know what I'm saying? He can say, you know what, whoop, whoop, let me take you out for dinner, and it could be smoothed over. Like, but for this man, once you cross that line, you cross that line. Sometimes it ain't no coming back.
Well, what if it's no coming back for the woman either?
May not be. You know what I'm saying?
But you care about the man more than you care about the woman.
I mean, when you cross the lines of respect, it's just, I don't know, those lines a little bit thicker. You know what I'm saying? They
So what you're saying is like the point that we're making here is that like you guys hold respect so highly, right? That he knew that if he sent that out, that negative thing, or I wish I could remember exactly what was said in each tweet. Right. But he knew that if he did that, it was just like, no, I can't.
Yeah, you don't want to cross the line.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. Just like, okay, this is like part of manhood, right? That you learn from boyhood. That it's just certain things that you don't say. It's probably kind of like kicking y'all in your genital areas, right?
Why would you do that?
Do you explicitly like tell each other not to do that, or
no? We just know not to do that.
But a woman will do it.
No, because y'all don't know better.
But if like across the board, no man will typically do that.
Nah, you fighting dirty.
You fighting real dirty.
Yeah. Fight me like a man. Put up the dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that ain't cool.
But y'all don't have any conversations about it.
No, what we gonna talk about that for? It's already understood.
It's just understood. You would never kick me in my genital area.
No, man. No. Unless, you know what I'm saying, it's just like life or death situation. And you got this big dude and shoot, you back against the corner, you know what I'm saying, protecting my family. Ha! You remember Friday After Next?
Oh, yes.
So
he was trying to rape him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So in that sort of situation.
I got to get you up off me. See, you doing some other stuff that's against the man.
This was a comedy. I'm not laughing about rape. I'm sorry if people don't know what I'm talking about. It was Friday After Next. It was a comedy
movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know, if it's a willing participant, then that's it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Right?
But don't try to take nothing.
Right.
Don't take nothing. Don't take nothing from me.
Yeah. So this is an important thing right here. The question that the author asks is, are you a criticizer or a stonewaller? He keeps referring to this man named John Gottman because he did an extensive amount of research on couples that have been married for a long time. And we are going to be looking at that book too. But he said that 85% of husbands eventually stonewall their wives during conflict. For a man, tensions builds faster because his blood pressure and his heart rate rise much higher and stay elevated much longer than his wife. During tense exchanges, a wife's negative criticism can overwhelm the husband, and
malfunction.
And he has little appetite to deal with it. In an attempt to calm himself down, the husband will stonewall, become quiet, say nothing, or go off by himself. So this is totally what I do. So, clearly, it's not just men, right?
Right.
But you do this too if
sure.
if it's something that is like bad enough, right?
Right.
But I try not to be very critical, right?
Right.
So, we haven't had too many of these situations where I'm just like being overly critical of you. And maybe I'm sure it has everything to do with the fact that we read this book, or I'm not gonna say everything. I just don't like to be a very critical person anyways. Right. I like to try to be positive and think about, what you are doing. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, 85% of husbands will eventually like just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Why is that from the male psyche, Jason? What are you thinking? Is it exactly what this man said in this book? Your blood pressure goes up and
No, you just feel that temperature. That temperature is rising. Feel that heat come up. It's like, man, look.
And what are you afraid that what's going to happen if you...
I might say the wrong thing.
Okay.
I might do something that I don't want to do.
So you feel like this is the right thing to do, is just to walk away?
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if we keep going, it might... I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have no control after it passed a certain point.
Right. So I guess like we said earlier, it's all about making sure that you come back to that conversation. Mm-hmm. Because basically what he's saying in this book is that a lot of times men will just walk away and they don't want to deal with it. And this hurts a woman because it's like, well, I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to, like, it's a problem. We need to talk about it. This is the way that we deal with things. We talk it out.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm making general statements. Some women actually avoid conflict, right? Mm-hmm. And so, of course, we're not talking about like all women, but for the most part, women want to talk it out. And we want to talk it out like right now, you know,
right.
And you know, they can become like very offended and that feels unloving when you walk away. Mm-hmm. So they may not really understand, you know, right. But Jason and I have definitely gotten into a groove of things where Jason can feel that things are getting heated. He may feel it before I do. And he'll say, okay, we need to put a pin in it.
Right.
We need to take a break and like cool down and then come back and try to talk about this. But
get back to this a little bit later.
Yeah. But like I said,
take a commercial break.
Yeah. Like I said, though, it's just important that, you know, you do talk about it. You go back.
Yeah, you got to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's no point if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Dr. Gottman, the other author, mm-hmm. Says that the more wives complain and criticize, the more husbands withdraw and stonewall. The more husbands withdraw and stonewall, the more wives complain and criticize.
The crazy cycle.
The crazy cycle. Definitely. Yeah. So he also asked, you know, this author was a doctor and he had couples that he counseled or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said one time he asked a woman, this couple had a son, and he said, what if your son grew up and married someone like you? Like, would you be happy? Because she was having this problem of just talking very disrespectfully to her husband. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he said her mouth fell open. Like, oh, actually, because she loves her son, you know what I mean? And she can just imagine, like, what? A woman talking to my son like that?
Right.
Like, no, because I can tell you right now, little Isaiah boy, I find out he grow up and get married and his wife talking to him crazy. Oh,
what you gonna do? Ain't nothing you can do.
It's not anything that I can do, actually. I don't know. She gonna get the side eye.
That's why you gotta do what you can while you are raising your children,
right? To
hopefully help them identify who not to get with and who you should get with. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Loveology Podcast is not just for you. You know, for you listening right now, it's not just for you. You know, we can refresh your memory on some nuggets that you already know, right? And these are some things that you can pass to other people, including your kids, right?
Yeah.
And again, no one knows everything there is about love. Mm-hmm. Don't know it. I don't care how long you've been on this earth. You don't know everything there is about love. So therefore, we all can do some improvement. Therefore, there might be some nuggets in this episode and a later episode or previous episode or whatever in future episodes. So it's good to subscribe to us and listen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know what you might pick up and then you can pass on to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just keep it moving.
Okay. Another thing that the author says that he encourages wives to do is to sit back and ask yourself, is what I'm about to say or do going to come across as respectful or disrespectful? So like I said, taking that deep breath, just asking yourself, okay, I don't want to be disrespectful. How can I say this? Is what I'm about to do, can that be seen as disrespectful?
What are you about to do? Oh, you asking yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, and I think to even add some more intention to it before you say what you want to say after you take that deep breath, you can say is, hey, I don't want to come off disrespectful to you. Bam. Then say what you need to say. Mm-hmm. That'll help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't know like what's disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like this is new to you. Say that so that male knows that, okay, she's not trying to come off disrespectful, but she still is. But I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt because what she said, she's not trying. She just don't know. Let me help.
Right. And I will say that the author is assuming that your choice in a partner that like they are good-willed, right? Like he's assuming that like they are like a decent person. Right. So some people need a lot of help, right? And they're not being very, like maybe they are meaning to be disrespectful, and that's another conversation, you know? But so I will throw that out there. Yeah. Because he said, your partner is more than likely a good-willed individual that doesn't want to hurt you, right? But so we talked about this a little bit last time on the previous episode about whether love and respect was the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it is, right? You have to respect somebody to love them. Mm-hmm. But this author was saying that some of the couples that he counseled, he would ask them a question. He would ask the woman, do you love your boss? Right. Mm-hmm. But you respect your boss. Right. So it's different. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about it in that way. Right. Like your husband wants that same sort of respect that you have for your boss. Correct. You love and respect. Right. And we're not saying that women don't need respect. Of course. Right. We want respect too. Right. But men just value respect a little bit deeper. Right. And going to one of Miles Monroe, I've been looking up some Miles Monroe, so shout out to Miles Monroe and his family. He talked about this woman, going to church and everything, and the husband, not necessarily understanding, like she's always in the church, she's always here and there, but she's not looking out for me. Mm-hmm. And Miles Monroe actually told her to, I think she came to him saying she had some marital problems or whatever, and he actually told her to stay home for Bible study, like go back home, because your home is you need to get that situated. Yeah, he said that her husband was more important than him, right? Like than the pastor, yeah. Right. And so what I'm getting to, that sometimes we would give the pastor more respect than we would give our husband, and your husband will feel that, right? They know that, they see it in your eyes, they hear it in your voice, they see how you perk up when you speak to them. They may not say nothing to you, but they see it and they feel it, and so that can bring some insecurities onto the man, therefore that can make him jealous, right? Not saying that is your fault the reason why he's jealous, but I'm just saying give that respect, that respect that you give your pastor, that respect that you give your boss or whatever. Bring that respect home and give that to your husband. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't find things that are respectable just yet. We did a previous episode about that. Find those things. You got to work on that, because that will help your relationship. Yeah, maybe your goal is to just find one thing that you respect about your partner and then hold on to that. You know what I mean? And let them know that you admire that about them. And what this author is saying is basically, if you start acting in a respectful way, then your husband will feel that, and he will start acting more loving. Correct. Or if you're the man, so basically, I mean, this is good to just kind of segue into the next topic of, if you are in the crazy cycle and both of you are just fighting and harsh words are being thrown and nobody's happy, somebody has to go first. Somebody got to stop the crazy cycle. Somebody got to stick their hand in there and stop this thing. Yeah. So the author basically says that the most mature person, if you in your relationship feel like you're the most mature person, then you probably need to go first. Right. And basically, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably need to go first. Because you are actually, searching for ways to improve. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that your relationship is bad or anything, but like I said, you are the one that's actively doing it. Yeah. So whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Somebody needs to stop it. Most likely you're the more mature one, so it's up to you. So basically, here's the rules. If you're the woman and you're the most mature one, Find that one thing that you respect about your partner. Treat them with respect. Speak to them with respect. And like I said, this doesn't mean that you are supposed to allow, like, whatever things that are going on to continue to go on without like voicing your opinion. He's not saying that. He's just saying be respectful in the way that the way that you approach it. Right. So, try to find one thing that you respect about your partner and tell them, hey, I really respect that, you keep the floors clean. Like, I don't know.
She still struggle with this. I really respect you keep the floors clean. But yeah, no, it could be. I really respect how you treat me as a woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I really respect how you know.
That's a big one though. Like, if you, more than likely, if a woman is having a hard time feeling respectful toward her husband, it's because she doesn't feel like he's treating her the way that he wants.
Could it be worse?
Well,
I'm just saying, could it be? We got to start somewhere, right? We got to start somewhere.
I really appreciate that you not abusing me physically abusing me.
Yeah, I respect you as a man for not physically abusing me.
Oh my gosh.
What? I mean, if that's what you want to say. Okay. If you really feel that in your heart,
if that's like the only thing that you can find or something, that's
yeah. I mean, it's nothing okay, well, because it's guys out here that physically abuse their women.
I guess so. You're right. What I'm saying? Yeah. So it could, if you really searching for something and you just can't find anything that you respect about your husband,
just find some and state that you respect that about him, and that's gonna get in that heart,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Not the oh baby, you are so great, and I mean, don't get me wrong, that's cool too, but it's the respect, that word respect. Mm-hmm. That's what we're looking for, and some men don't even know it, right? But that's the word you gotta incorporate. You gotta add that vocabulary to your language on a daily basis. I mean, if not necessarily daily, but definitely weekly. Respect is a big deal. You need to tell a man. You need to use that word respect towards a man, just like you want love used towards you.
Right.
So whether if you want love, you want to be here that I love you, or you feel loved on a daily basis, we'll give that same thing but just add respect. Same thing.
Yeah. When so basically, you're starting that, you're stopping that cycle, and like you said, it'll motivate the man, right?
Yes.
It'll motivate him more, and he'll start acting in a more loving way.
Right.
So here's something again that I just want to be clear on. The author wrote this again. He says, when I talk about respecting your husband, I do not mean being a doormat. I do not mean burying your brains, never showing your leadership ability, or never disagreeing in the slightest way. I do not mean that he is superior or you are inferior in some way, nor do I want you to ignore your hurts and vulnerabilities. I just want to be really clear about this, because people can get this confused, right? Like, no, we're not saying that you can't say what you need to say. So anyways, that's redundant. We just talked about that, but I just wanted to read that because I felt like that was good. If anybody has any fear about reading this book, these are not the things that he's preaching in this book. Okay.
Right.
Like you are equal. You can express your pain. Right. You just got to do it the right way.
Right.
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 This is another point that I really wanted to talk about, because he said sometimes mothers, when you become a mother, you get so used to mothering your children. And when the baby first get here, dad probably really doesn't know too much of what to do. Right. So you get used to like instructing him and making sure that he's doing things right. And then it just kind of like spills over into you instructing him and mothering him all the time.
Yeah.
I am not your mother.
Right.
How do I do with this, Jason?
I mean, seems like you do a pretty good job to me.
You don't feel mothered?
No, I don't feel offended in none of that. I'm good.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be your mama.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be telling you what to do all the time.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm good at that, about like not mothering you.
Right.
I just actually we were talking about this. Like, I just kind of grew up knowing that me and Tomboy, I just kind of like know how y'all are. Y'all a little bit more reckless than we are. But a lot of times y'all still land on your feet. That's the funny part about it, right? Like, some things you actually can do physically that I can't do, and if I try to do it, I'm gonna hurt myself.
Right.
But you have more like ability, so you can do it. And
Right.
I learned that's so I'm not going to be like mothering you, because actually you'll be okay. You
Right.
know, some stuff I am gonna make a big deal out of, but for the most part, it's like you're a grown man. Like you can do what you want to do.
Exactly.
As long as you're not hurting my babies, right? You know, you're not doing anything to hurt my babies.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of like, I let you get away with things that other women wouldn't, because I remember you took a picture tossing our baby in the air.
Dad toss. Yeah.
And everybody was like so scared. And I actually took the picture. Like, I didn't know you was going to throw them up, I guess, that high. Like, actually, I didn't know what you was doing, you know.
Right.
But it
just look high.
It just looks high. It's like,
because I pulled my arms down.
Mm-hmm.
But really, if my hands was up, he wasn't that far from my hands. But the fact that I threw him up and I put my hands down, picture snapped, and then I went up and caught him. So yeah, it's a dad toss or something. You'll see the picture, but it's, I haven't done it again. I had some people hit me up. Don't do that again. Don't you do this. So you're not gonna do that again. Everybody a little nervous about the dad toss.
Yeah. I mean, I did afterwards. I was maybe it was just everybody else. Maybe I just trust you a lot. I actually didn't know what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
You was just like, come take this picture, and I was like, okay. And then you tossed my baby up in the air, but you caught him, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah. But maybe he was a little too young to go up that high, right?
Yeah. It just looked like it was high, but like I said, if my hands would have stayed there, it would have been just a little bit higher than my hands, almost like a little toss like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that I tossed them and then put my hands down and then brought them back up.
And I snapped the picture right when your arms were down.
Correct.
So he just looks like way higher than what he actually is. But that's the point of the picture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all good. He's safe. He's good, y'all. No worries. Also, so real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to our VIP again. I said a little bit about them in the beginning, but want to kind of go to their website and show you that, Glamoury.com, man, this label, they take pride in gracing their women with style from head to toe with their statement making apparel, shoes, and accessories. You checked out some of their stuff, right, babe?
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. So go to www.glamoury.com to dress you up for the next unforgettable event, right? So whether it be a birthday soiree, whether it's a brunch event with your girlfriends or a date night with your significant other, they are sure to provide you with something that will elevate your wardrobe. Also, and that's pretty awesome, but they are currently offering a coupon code where you can save a little money off, 10% to be exact, and that's Loveology10. That's to knock off some of that money. It's 10%, Loveology10. All right, and you add that to that's your promo code, and that'll knock off 10%. Mm-hmm. And one last thing, which I think is pretty cool, they also accept Afterpay, Sezzle. And so now you're able to split up your purchases into up to 4 interest-free installments. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Interest-free?
Yeah, interest-free. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Right? So go check that out, man. Appreciate y'all. VIP. Shout out to our VIPs out there.
So yeah. So now, what if you are the man that is the more mature one, and you need to go first? What does that look like?
Ooh, you gotta, first of all, hold your woman's hands. Get her and grab them hands, because they be wanting to fight sometimes. What would you do? So you got to talk about this. Is just me off just thinking, like, you gotta come in there with some loving and caring, right? You got to talk about what you love about, right?
Yeah. I mean, in the middle of a conflict, because basically a man feels most of the time disrespected during a conflict, and the woman is feeling unloved during the conflict.
Right.
So again, just remember that your wife is probably crying out for love. Like she's feeling neglected, or something is going on where she's not feeling as loved as she would like to feel. And if she is a good-willed person, then more than likely she's just crying out, like she just wants to be understood. And you have to recognize that, okay, she's speaking very disrespectfully to me, but I can recognize that she don't actually mean this, you know. And you can all have a conversation later on about like how you want to be, you know, spoken to, because everybody has a right to be spoken to respectfully.
Correct.
So you can have a conversation about that. I'm reminded of like when Will Smith and Jada, it was like on one of their previous episodes, earlier episodes, Red Table Talk, that she was telling a story. I think both of them was telling a story about how Jada used to curse, right? And he told her, I can't handle when we argue, I can't handle the cuss words. We're not doing that, basically. And if you can't, you know, agree to that, then we can break up. They were just boyfriend and girlfriend. They weren't married at the time. And then I think she like cussed like immediately after that, like she didn't take him seriously. And he was like, okay, well, we're breaking up. And then she was like, are you serious? And she said her eyes welled up with tears. And she said, okay, like I won't do that again. Right. So yes, you can have a conversation about that. But if you're in the meantime, like, you know, trying to deal with this and you're trying to get through to your wife, you got to take those hits, basically. Right. And we're talking about if you're the most mature one and you're trying to break the crazy cycle. Right. You got to take those hits of her speaking disrespectfully, even though it hurts you, and then, you know, still treat her in a very loving way, still try to get to the bottom of it, of what's going on. Right. And hopefully that and what this author is saying is that if you continue to do that, then, you know, she's going to learn to start treating you more respectfully. Yeah.
So how long do you how long do you just stand in the ring and take those punches?
You can't give a time frame to it, but there was a story about a woman and her husband that she said he was the one that went first. Like, she thought that she didn't love him anymore. They separated for like 2 weeks, and their daughters was really missing him. And so she allowed him to come back, but he was like, he had studied this book and the love and respect sort of materials, and was reading other relationship books. And she said he just, you know, he would be praying and she like rolling her eyes and all this other stuff. Like he praying for their relationship and she rolling her eyes. And she said he just kept treating her in a very respectful way. And then eventually, you know, it got to her. She was like, wow, like I'm messing up. I'm tripping. You know what I mean? Like, it's all me. And, you know, I love him even more for putting up with this. Right. And, you know, and then she learned to stop speaking disrespectfully to him, but she didn't give a time frame of how long it took, you know. So that's the thing.
Well, here's a good thing, you know. How many of us know how you know, how long does it take for change to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how long it's gonna take, but once that change happens, it happens like that, right? Yeah. So you know, you just gotta. It's up to you. You know the value of your relationship. You know what they mean to you. So it's up to you and how much you want to put up with that. But if you come in, take those punches, whatever side you're on. If you're the woman and you're taking a lot of hits that of him being cold or whatever, you know, take those hits. You know, show him respect. He's gonna eventually come around. For the man, if you're taking a lot of disrespect, take those hits.
And we're talking about figuratively speaking. Right. Just want
to take the hits.
Not literal hits. No.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Yeah. You can't do that. Right. Because you're harming the body. Right. But yeah, take those figuratively speaking hits and you know, it'll eventually come around. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and we're speaking also from a very spiritual standpoint too. So we're praying as well as we're doing this. Yes. So you know, yeah.
I'm with it.
But yes, this is I'm just happy that we haven't had to go through this, Jason. Right. Because I'm just like, shoot, I don't know how many hits I could take. Like, I don't know. Like,
Ashley said physically, if I ever physically hit her, she would be gone
with the quickness.
And you gonna throw all this away?
Yeah.
Off a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
With the quickness.
It ain't cool. We should all have that same mentality. I don't know. Like, if Ashley, you know, tried to, first of all, she wouldn't be able to hit me. That's first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? I'm quick with the dot. You know what I'm saying? So she wouldn't even be able to lay a hand on me, I can block and reverse it and hold her. I'm like, babe, calm down. You know what I'm saying? So I think I can. I don't know. I think I'll be able to get you on that. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah. But luckily, I ain't have to show all my moves. I know a lot of moves that she don't know about.
I know a lot of moves that he don't know about either.
And I got a lot of moves she do know about. But she know those moves. I know how to do the moves at the end of the day.
Okay. So here is something that the fellas can do if you're the one moving first and you find yourself in a conflict with your wife and she's, the author said, spouting venomous poison.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. You can just say, you still need to speak to her in a very loving way, try to get to the bottom of it. But you can just try by saying, honey or baby, whatever you call your wife, I love you. I really don't want us to, do this.
That's dope.
Like, I love you. I want to talk about this. I want to get to the bottom of it. But I love you. So can we please, figure out what the problem is?
Right.
Just say I love you.
That's dope. Yeah, I like that. You know what I'm saying? See, some people call this game, but this ain't game. This is real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just take her, take her hands, look her dead in the eye, and say, baby, I love you. Let's figure this thing out together.
So I think that'll work. Like if I'm doing something now, don't say it and she still needs to talk about it. Like, don't just be saying, I love you. Can we talk about this later? Like,
right. She got to feel it. She going to feel it. You know what I'm saying? She feel the truthfulness, right? So you just can't say it. You got to feel it and then express it.
Yeah. Just take a step back and understand, like, even though you feeling disrespected right now and she tripping and she talking crazy, I love you. Let's figure this out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then whatever, kind of how you said, you can kind of preface your statement with, I'm not trying to be unloving.
Right.
I don't want to say this. I don't want you to feel like I don't love you.
Right.
But this is the way that I feel about it or whatever.
Right.
We got to lead with love and respect, basically.
Exactly.
So here's an important thing, though. Yes, when we talk about one person moving first, right? So what have you been trying for like 2 years?
Jesus.
And nothing is working. So yes, a marriage can survive and even improve somewhat with one spouse carrying most of the load. But God's design is that marriage is a two become one proposition. As husbands and wives learn to respect each other and love each other, miracles do indeed happen. But bad marriages become good, boring marriages become exciting, and good marriages become better and better. But basically what he's saying is we need both of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one person can carry the load, but it's not going to be good. We need both of you to act right.
It's kind of like those bicycles with two people on it. Yeah, one person can, pull all the weight. You know what I'm saying? One person can do it. Yeah. But it works better. You can get there further without,
it's a happier experience.
So much stress and energy if both of y'all guys do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing also I wanted to say, men, when you are feeling disrespected, you just want to avoid the conflict altogether because you don't feel like dealing with that. And basically, this author, as well as Dr. John Gottman, says that that's just not what you want to do. Like, but if you're going to go into that conflict, and she's being disrespectful and she hasn't learned this lesson about being respectful, then you just got to take those hits and you got to, conversate with her and try to help her. Read this book. Watch this podcast. Listen to this podcast. Let her listen to this, and have her call me, and I'll talk to her. You know what I mean? I don't know. But
yeah, VIP tiers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's a part of the
you
perks.
Get some consultation,
1-on-1, 1 hour consultation. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, just don't. You can't get to the place where you're just avoiding conflict. It's just not gonna work. Like if there's it's called, I heard someone talking about pain points, like a pain in their body is just telling you that something is wrong. Pay attention to me. And people just be like going through the pain or whatever. Like, no, if you got a pain, a headache, you keep having headaches and stuff like that, that's your body telling you that something is wrong and you need to pay attention to that. So if you're having fights and arguments, if you avoid it, it's just not going to work.
Right.
But we just have to approach these conversations with love and respect.
Right. Just like it could be a simple cut, but if you don't, address that cut can evolve to something worse. It can evolve to an infection, and you can mess around and lose your arm just off a small little cut where you just could have easily just cleaned it and put a Band-Aid on it.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
But instead you let it fester and and just go into something worse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to do all that.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And people would think that this is small, but no, that is a great example. It's a small cut that can easily turn into something very nasty.
Right. Exactly.
Which is you guys not falling out of love and not being together. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that wraps it up for this week.
Woo-woo.
Next week, we're going to be talking about getting into the energizing cycle.
The energizing cycle.
Yeah, we just got finished talking about the crazy cycle, and one person needs to move first.
Ooh.
But now, let's get into the good stuff. Once you start loving and respecting,
reverse that crazy cycle, then energize. Okay, I can feel that, because I don't think we talked about that.
I don't think we finished.
But we do it though.
Yeah,
we do it because I already know where it's going.
Yeah,
but we didn't talk about that when we first.
I don't think we finished this book.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
But what we got out of it, this first part was enough to really help us. And now, we about to learn the rest of it. It's like, we about to be.
We dropped the ball. Don't drop the ball. Don't be like us. Go follow through these series. Listen to all these different series, 1, 2, and 3, and however many more we come out.
Right.
Because you can learn some stuff that you don't have to figure out on your own.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why?
You don't got to figure out the hard way.
Why go through that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make this fun. Make this exciting.
Right.
Make this awesome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it.
Okay. Yeah. So the energizing cycle is his love motivates her respect. Her respect motivates his love. That's when we doing something. Then.
Yeah, buddy. It feels good. Yeah. And you throw in some love languages in there.
Yeah.
And some his needs, her needs, man. And man, shoot. You got a nice little gumbo. Got a nice little stew. The love stew. That's gonna really fill up y'all marriage or your relationship. So I think that's awesome. I think that's gonna be a nice little formula that we're gonna put together.
What?
Like I said, the energizing cycle, love languages, and his needs, her needs. If you throw those things in there,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like those are the top things that the couples need to learn, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and need to implement this on a daily basis.
I think so, because actually I was reading ahead a little bit to the energizing cycle, and some of this stuff is the same as the book, as what they were talking about in his needs, her needs. So when you keep seeing the same thing over and over, it's like, okay, must be some truth to this. You know
signs,
what I mean?
Man, pay attention to the omens.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the signs, y'all.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, the his needs, her needs, we did a series about on a book called His Needs, Her Needs, and it was just awesome.
Right.
We just learned a lot of stuff.
So I think our first YouTube video was the last series of the His Needs, Her Needs. So go check that out, LoveologyPodcast.com, and go check that out. And also, hey, we want to hear from you guys. A live discussion. We do that every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Man, join us. And we're talking about this episode. So if you listen to this episode right now and you got questions you want to ask and you can't meet us live on Facebook, shoot us an email at loveologypodcast@gmail.com, and I can present that question on the live discussion so everybody can see, the community can see it, and we can get answers, right? Not just from me, but from the community. So yeah, Loveology Podcast, check us out.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all?
Yep.
Well, we're going to catch y'all next time, man. Thank y'all. Don't forget to go get you some shirts, some apparel, hoodies starting to get warm again, right?
Cold.
Go get cold again. Yeah, we still in LA. They got that Indian summer. So in October.
I don't know if we should call it Indian summer.
That's what they call it, though.
I don't know. We think about, racial things now. Why do we call it Indian summer?
Because of harvest.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you harvest the foods and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to check it out.
Yeah,
we don't want to be offensive. So.
Right.
Even if that's what they call it.
Basically, it still get hot around this time here in LA, which LA heat is not really heat, but y'all know how it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, it is in the valley, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, go just get you some apparel, get you a hoodie, man. Go check us out, man. LoveologyPodcast.com. We got mask and all that good stuff, touchless tools, so you can go to the ATM and not touch it, but you'll go see for yourself.
COVID. Gotta get that too.
Go check it out. All right. Well, we out of here, man. Thank you, love. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.
Bye.